Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they lying. Don't talk, you gotta work.
Welcome to Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Let's Talk is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Real talk, real experience, real results. FrankWalkerLaw.com. Let the conversation begin on Let's Talk.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Lee with Let's Talk. And in the building today, we have Hollis Lewis.
Hello.
And Lisa Otey.
Hello.
Lady and gent, this is one of those really difficult kind of days when you when you lose two coaches that with name recognition.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy, and both of them really having a lot of success.
They were icons.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I mean, you could make the case two of probably the most notable coaches ever
in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just going to give a little bit of background information on what you're referring to,
Okay.
Carl. So this past week, we lost, like we said, two of West Virginia coaching community's icons. The first that we lost on February 16th was Coach Roger Jefferson. For those that aren't familiar with some of his accomplishments, I'll just run over a few of these. He was a four-time state champion coach who led Charleston High School in 1988 to a state title. And then the following year, when Stonewall and Charleston High consolidated, the very first team that Capital fielded, they won a state title in 1989. So those were two of his most prolific wins, I would say. And then, of course, later on in 1991 and 1995, he led Capital High School to two more titles. So he was also a West Virginia Sports Writer Coach of the Year overall in 1990. So very accomplished man. And then a day later, on February 17th, this was within 24 hours, we lost Coach Scott Tinsley. And he was a man who was known as being very innovative as an offensive mind. He notably coached at St. Albans, GW, and he also was the offensive coordinator, I believe, when J.R. House played at Nitro.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so he led 5 of 6 teams to the playoffs. So both of these gentlemen that we've lost, are losses for our community. What are your thoughts, guys?
Well, I speaking of Coach Tinsley, I had a pretty good relationship with Coach Tinsley. He was an innovator of offensive football. He pretty much, I would say, brought the air raid system to West Virginia back when, in the late 90s, when everybody was running the veer and the options and the wing tees. He really spread it open and had just a prolific offensive, football with J.R. House and Chris Martin. But I would also back up, he also coached at West Virginia Tech when he was in Montgomery. He also coached at West Virginia State.
Yeah.
And at West Virginia State, he had Ken Greer, who was a prolific Division II. Maybe they was NIA at that time, but was a prolific quarterback. He had pretty much held all West Virginia State quarterback records until recently, and the offensive systems caught up. But just one of those guys who just, like I said, just brought that system and really pushed the envelope to make West Virginia move into, far as the future, as far as offensive football is concerned. So, and I had a chance to sit up under him. I learned a lot. He coached me in the North-South game. I was around when he was at GW. So he was a really, offensive-minded and just knew the position well. And I think it's just one of those things when you look back at the history of West Virginia football, he was, I think, a turning point within it. Like I said, he pushed it forward. And obviously, Roger Jefferson had just those prolific Charleston High and Capital teams and just had so much talent that he was able to, do a lot with that talent that he had there.
Sure.
And I'm going to follow up on Jefferson. And I knew him really well. And he he was that kind of coach that you just would love to play for. He was just that kind of guy, kind of tough, demanded excellence, but it was like one of those kind of situations where you wanted to give that away
right
to him. And to me, I think when you take those two, they're totally somewhat different. But if you could take and merge those two together and put it into somebody, you would have probably, without a question, just the greatest coach ever, man. And especially for high school, I mean, I just think that there was a way that he could take the kids from Charleston and make them play. And I won't even say made them want to play.
Right.
And play and be great.
And to me, whenever I read through this, and I'm thinking to myself, when consolidations happen between schools, especially rivalries, because I know Stonewall Jackson High School and Charleston High School, they were rivalries.
Big time.
And to be able to blend those two team dynamics and win a state championship the very first year that they're consolidated together at Capitol, to me, that's a feat that I don't know how often that happens, but it can't happen that often. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
And I think, like, one of the things, because I think maybe some people would say, well, he had all the talent, which
True.
He did. He had during those first probably 10 years at Capitol, there's probably no more talent-rich team in that era specifically. But I think, you have to be able to manage talent, right? You have to create a discipline within the talent. So, again, you had some guys on those teams, some real deal. You had a lot of NFL guys, a lot of D1 guys. But you still have to have that head that can manage and put those pieces together and build expectations. That's a very, very valid point. And that's the most meaningful piece is because sometimes people think that talent is all you need, but talent can be a hassle. Talent can be a hassle.
Yeah.
That's very true.
If you're a coach and you've got a team full of stars, every star wants to be the top star. Yeah. How do you manage that? How do you coordinate that and put it into team and let everybody be able to celebrate the championship? And some guys are going to get this, they can get the top awards and all that kind of stuff, but we're winning championships. And I think when you can come together enough to win a championship, I'm okay with Hollis being the player of the year. Yeah. I ain't going to be mad that I didn't get the ball enough to get that.
Yeah, and for me, like a lot of those early teams, those early Capitol High School teams, they were like sentimental for me because those were my first like football heroes. Like, right? I played with some of those guys that were older, like, playing with them and not playing with them, but playing on the same team in Little League football. And then, I would go to Capitol High School football games. And I was one, when you're young, you at the game playing, but I would be sitting watching the game.
Yeah.
And I can just remember a lot of those guys, Varian Cunningham, Buster, Brian Evans, all those guys. And I remember Bully, all those guys, just watching them, and those were like, wow, those were superstars to me. So, those were definitely sentimental times. That was kind of like my first, being up close and personal. Those I would just remember those. I have fond memories of those days. Watching early Capitol High football.
I want to go back to Coach Tinsley just for a minute, guys, and you've alluded to about his innovative offensive mind and the things that he was able to accomplish at the high school level with the offense. So my question for you both is, how does a coach be able to bring such a prolific offense, such a creative offense, and water it down enough to the high school level where you have, it's not like a collegiate level of talent, because those guys have played high school ball. They have a fundamental understanding of offense. But how do you think he was able to mold those kids to be able to implement the offense he wanted them to?
I think
that's a good question.
And again, he and Coach Tinsley, he was a quarterback at St. Albans. Then he was a quarterback at Appalachian State. So I think the thing is like, number one, I think, you can challenge kids and middle school, high school, you can challenge them enough and if you challenge them, they'll pick it up.
Right.
But specifically, just going to the nuance how you do it, I think the verbiage is one. So in college, it may take me 10 or 15 seconds to call off a play because I'm calling off the different assignments. I'm calling blocking assignments. I'm calling, I may even call 2 or 3 plays at one time, right? So the verbiage, so you simplify the verbiage one. And then from a quarterback perspective, I think you start with like half field reads. You start with whether I'm reading the right side, the middle, or the left. And then I can start going from the safety to my read, and I can start eventually open it up to full reads. And then from there, when you're talking about option routes and different things of that nature, it's just working.
Baby steps.
And I used to love the way they would practice. I mean, they would practice music full blast, so they would turn the stadium music on, so they had practice in loud, noisy environments. And you could just tell, like, playing against them, because I played against J.R. House and those Nitro teams all my high school years. And they were just so far ahead. They were making calls on the field. He had the hand signals flowing when a lot of teams were still running players in and out. So it was just like I said, if you put it in front of them, they'll pick it up. I think sometimes we underestimate kids.
And I 100% agree on all of that, Hollis. And I'll add to it's teaching, and call it teaching, call it coaching. He had the ability to be able to talk that verbiage to the kids so where they could get it. Sometimes coaches can overcoach to a degree that they don't understand.
Yeah.
And until you tell them in a way that they can understand it, like it's like, oh, the light's on.
Yeah.
I get that. And then and think about that from and Hollis, you know this way better than I do. When you can talk to your quarterback and you can talk to him with that kind of language because you're not talking to him trying to get him to understand what you're saying. You're giving him the verbiage that you know in your head. And now what you've done is you've taught him. He's hearing that. He can see that in his head. So now when he's running out on the field with that call, he's going to be out there. He already knows.
And plus, man, I mean, you got to understand during the mid-'90s, and again, this is something he did at State earlier, but I'm just talking about bringing it to high school. In the mid-'90s, everybody in the mom is run-based offense. So you're running a veer, you're running option, you're running – some teams still running wishbones or wing tees. That's what everybody was running. Yeah. So those kids, man, you going up and down the field. You scoring 60, 70 points a game. You're moving lightning fast, no huddle. Let's not forget that. That offense was so fun to watch.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine playing in it and being a quarterback. We were all envious because we want to throw the ball 40 and 50 times a game with that wide open space. So I would imagine, if you talk to maybe some of the former players, they probably just had a ball running that offense.
I bet.
And I bet you if you find a player who played against
those
teams,
they're
like, because again, if I'm a corner during that time, what am I thinking about run? I'm thinking about run
and tackling.
And tackling.
Yeah.
There might be 6 or 7 throws maybe in the game, but in his system, all of a sudden, I got to change my whole mindset, and maybe just for one game.
Yeah, and that's how it was.
Yeah,
literally.
Because when he changed it, it was just him. Everybody else is like looking at him like thinking he's crazy.
Yeah.
But until he started putting up 40s and 50s,
and he made every.
He was a pioneer, basically.
I'm telling,
yes.
and I'm saying I'm not going to necessarily speak for the whole state, but I'm saying here in Kanawha County, maybe even the southern half of the state, he made everybody basically change their offense. Everybody
and defense.
Everybody and defense.
Yeah.
So everybody
had
to do it different after that.
It was just it looked good.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. It looked good, and everybody loves points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we wanted to touch in on that, audience, and our condolences to the family, and they both surely will be missed in the community. So, guys, let's move on to something that we just wrapped up yesterday with an exciting finale game breakfast breakfast hockey, I should say. Did you guys watch the men's hockey game yesterday morning?
No, I see.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, I had it on, and I instantly kind of just turned away from it. But my history in that is, I was in Minnesota, and of course, they have a hockey team, and I had an agent who was like, he loved it. And so he wanted to take me to it.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, hockey? I mean, what? Like, what? Do they score touchdowns in there? What do they do? And so I go. Have you ever been to?
Yes, hockey is phenomenal.
I love it. I've been to
phenomenal.
one game, and I loved it. I was in love.
I'm telling you, I had never seen guys on just that thin metal be able to be that athletic on ice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Man.
I'm looking at
really
I can't help it. I'm a DB. I'm like watching their feet, and I'm like, what are they doing? How are they doing that? Somebody's got to break an ankle or tear a knee up or something, and it's just and then
to be that agile and so athletic,
and they're not even thinking about it.
Large. I mean,
they don't even think about it.
Like, move around.
They're going backwards. They're sitting there going backwards and not even thinking.
And that's the thing. Like a lot of sports, TV just doesn't. You can't really capture it on TV.
No,
because I would say the same thing about soccer. High level soccer, high level hockey. You have to baseball. You got to go, and if you can go. Man, I'm telling you, you'll become a fan.
Yeah.
I'll challenge you just for me because I agree with you on all that. I got a chance to see the Twins play. Mm-hmm. Two things that I realized: me being scared of the ball was consistent. I was as I thought about being a batter, I was like,
did he just say that out loud?
I said that. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it.
It is kind of nerve-wracking.
I didn't like, like when you started moving up from Little League, to, I don't know, 10 or 11, the ball was too fast for me. I was scared of the ball.
Yeah.
That was my thing. I was scared of the ball as a batter. So I didn't want to bat. I didn't want to play first base. Because I didn't want the ball coming up.
I played first base too.
No, because every ball's coming to you.
Heat.
I didn't want to play third base because you hit the line drive down there. Second and short.
You just didn't want to play, it sounds like to me.
Second and short.
I'm not
trying to figure out. I can't figure out like the double
You could be
play.
the water boy.
At best.
Left field. Yeah.
No, because there's a chance that they'll hit one there.
Oh, my gosh.
And if they know I'm over there in left field, they're hitting there.
Oh, my gosh.
I just was so scared of baseball. And I had a buddy, Jimmy Harper. This is how I remember the name. Got hit in the back. He was playing for the Tigers. And he got hit in the back. And after the game, he showed me like
a bruise.
The bruise.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Hollis, I swear I could see the laces of the ball. I was like, if I could have asked the coach, if I had enough courage to ask the coach, do I have to bat? Can I play and not bat? I would have, and I'm done.
Just running the bases.
Just let me run the bases, man. Yeah. I can be a pinch runner for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, now that Carl's finished his baseball horror story, Matt, do we have a clip from the hockey game yesterday? Look at these guys back on track.
And it's Werenski. Now Jack Hughes puts it around McCarr. United States with numbers. Back across it comes. Jack Hughes wins it! The golden goal for the United States! For the first time since the 1980 miracle, the United States takes the gold! Jack Hughes beating Jordan Bennington!
See what you guys missed? I was in my pajamas. I watched the whole thing, and it was exciting.
And the women won too, right?
Yes.
So we doubled up. So this is historic.
Well, it was the first, first
it's
time.
Historic. Yeah. So it's like I said, the Winter Olympics was fun, and like I said, I'm proud of the USA.
Yeah.
This is the first time in a long time, so it's a good day.
And doesn't it kind of show that sports as a whole, I'm gonna say in the United States because this is where we are, is just getting better in everywhere. In every sport, the talent level is just getting better and better and better year after year after year.
I mean, we earned, let's see, the gold medals, I think, this time. The count. This was the best ever performance at the Winter Olympics with, I think it was 12 gold medals.
Who was the lead?
Norway. Norway dominated with 18, so we weren't too far off the lead.
How about overall?
Don't know that, but I do know. Sorry, 33 overall. Yeah.
Okay.
So, total medal count. Sorry about that. I read it wrong, Matt. Thank you for correcting me. But yeah, I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, we did well. And like I said, those Olympic sports, man. I mean, I was watching the bobsled, and I was watching the slalom, like where you're going down the hill, going around the flags. It was just, man, I'm telling you, just when you talk about like that, just different level of athleticism. And it's like, I always appreciate that, whether, it's curling or whatever, figure skating or whatever the sport is. Like, I just appreciate just that different athleticism. And so one of those things I wish like we would just have the chance to see it more. You know what I mean? Like, just have the chance to like go and like actually witness it.
And I like that. I like that you said that, because to truly appreciate what that skill set is to be there.
Different in person.
Yeah. It's way different in person. And, that's why everybody kind of knows football, basketball, and all those kind of things. But, man, some of those Olympic sports is, man, it takes you, it's got to be a ton of work. And
you got to be fearless in some of those. Like, what's the luge?
Yes.
Like, you got to be fearless. The like going down the half pipe, doing the snowboarding thing. Like not only do you have to have athleticism, skill set, it's got to be like a certain level of fearlessness.
Yeah, because if you do, you're coming down skiing and you fall.
Yeah, going 80.
Yes. I'm not thinking about going back up to the top and doing that again.
Yeah.
That just, like, you got to be so comfortable in yourself that you're saying, okay, well, this happened, that's why I fell, but, so I'm done with that. Let me go back and let me do it again. I don't think I got that in me.
I mean, that's a whole different drive to me. I mean, you not only have to be dedicated athletically and mentally, but you have to, just like you said, no fear. You have to go out there and just.
How do you get to
in a sport where you may not, like, you're not probably going to make millions just from doing a sport, right?
You want the medal.
Yeah, you want the medal. You might get some money off endorsements, but you're not going to be like this, like a football, basketball player. You're not going to be ultra wealthy, just playing a sport.
And you're doing this every 4 years.
Yeah.
The goal is every 4 years. You might be competing
world
championships and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But like, to me, I always kind of wonder, like, when is it that that that's where you are? Like, you're in I know where the clock says and all that kind of stuff, but man, building to that, like, how do you actually build yourself to Olympic gold?
I mean, you have to train the whole time between Olympics, I would think. And then that goes back to your point, Hollis. I mean, financially, you have to have sponsors. You have to have people that are picking up the tab in order for you to train. You're not making any money for personal gain at that point. You're just trying to get ready for the Olympics to win possibly a medal. So it's not financially lucrative.
And I would think if you win, then you might get some endorsements and all that kind of stuff.
But not in training.
But not in training.
And that's 4 years. And then you think about the fear part. Lindsay, is it Lindsay, what's her name?
Lindsey Vonn.
Lindsey Vonn. It came out just recently in the past day or so that when she broke her leg in that accident, it was catastrophic. She almost lost her leg. They almost had to amputate her leg. So those details are coming out now. So that just proves your point that, anything can happen. I mean, these are very dangerous sports a lot of these athletes participate in.
And and I'll even make the case, it's the speed.
Yes.
It's the speed of all of those things, and whether or not you are falling
right
or coming off of a sled, you're at like a top speed with nothing around you. Nothing to catch you, just you.
I mean,
and I'm gonna say concrete snow, and you're falling on that. I mean, to me, that is unimaginable for me. Like I couldn't, if I fell one time, came off the sled one time, man, I'm like, hey, this is probably not me. I'm probably not the guy for this.
Back to the football stadium
I'm going
for me.
back to football.
For sure.
I'm out.
Oh, well, that was a great story. The story of the hockey team. There were also some other stories. Some were kind of controversial. So I wanted to bring one up that's sort of controversial, and I have a clip for that too. Can you play that clip, Matt?
Also, do you see these as 2 silvers gained or 2 golds lost?
I'm the most decorated female free skier in history. I think that's an answer in and of itself. How do I say this? Winning a medal at the Olympics is a life-changing experience for every athlete. Doing it 5 times is exponentially harder because every medal is equally hard for me, but everybody else's expectations rise, right? And so the 2 medals lost situation, to be quite frank with you, I think is kind of a ridiculous perspective to take. I'm showcasing my best skiing. I'm doing things that quite literally have never been done before. And so I think that is more than good enough. But
Okay, so the voice you just heard, that was freestyle skier Eileen Gu. And she obviously is a very confident lady. The reason I played the clip, I mean, there's been talk about, of course, the way that she handles the press. She is very straightforward. She's very comfortable in her own skin, so to speak. And sometimes her attitude comes across a little abrasive when she's addressing the media. But the reason that we're going to talk a little more deeply about her is because of she was not an athlete competing for the United States, although she was born here. Her mom was born in Beijing, and she at age 15 decided to represent China instead of the United States. Okay, so this has been a back and forth issue, and I wanted your thoughts on the fact that she decided to represent China instead of the U.S.
Okay, before that, I want to comment on her conversation.
Okay.
One of the things that, and I'll use Sterling as an example.
Oh,
somebody like that, who. When you hear her say all the things that she's saying, it comes across naturally, instantly arrogant. But when you know that you are that person, you've won medals, you've won gold medals, you've scored a ton of touchdowns, you've been considered one of the best receivers ever in the league. When that shows up, there's not an opportunity for you to ever talk down. Like if somebody's asking a question, there's never going to be a chance you're going to try to make the case that I'm not good enough. You're going to make the case to say how good you actually are. And I think I wanted to put that out there because I wanted to make sure.
Great.
Because at the end of the day, when you know you're great, how do you talk? You can't talk yourself down.
But listen, man, that was a ridiculous question. And she responded appropriately.
I think
well,
so.
You know what she did after that?
What's that?
She got the gold medal on the half pipe.
She sure
a few
did.
days
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, she did.
Because that question all took place before that.
It did.
And it's a ridiculous question. Like you literally just won 2 silver medals in the Olympics. That means for this period of time, you are the second best to do this in the world.
Right.
Not in a country, not in a sport. And for somebody just to ask, like for him to even ask that question, and I thought her response was more than appropriate. To me, it didn't come off arrogant. It didn't come off cocky. It came off somebody like, that's a ridiculous question. That's a ridiculous statement.
But I think a lot of people want that. They want a humble winner.
That was humble.
And I thought, to me, hearing that, I felt like, to me, I'm like, she's saying exactly what she's supposed to say.
And as far as her representing China, as far as her representing China, man, I don't have no problem with that. We got athletes on the United States, whether it's the Summer Olympics, whether it's Winter Olympics, we got athletes from all around the world, literally. So wherever you want to represent, I mean, again, we would love to have you, obviously, because you're one of the best and you're winning gold medals. But again, it's not like she has ties over there.
Yes.
Her mother's from there.
Right.
So it's not as though she probably had dual citizenships and everything like that.
Sure.
So to
she
me,
lives here. She lives in the United
here.
States. She,
Yeah.
she
So-
studies at Stanford.
Yeah.
She trains here.
Yeah, no problem. I don't have a problem with it.
Well,
I kind of feel like if you're here, what my question would be, why would you then if you're here and you're getting all your training here, you're going to school here, you're doing all that here, it's just hard for me to imagine you not wanting to represent where you are.
well,
But that's
I know a couple of reasons why. Well, about 7 million of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that
She's
makes
being
sense.
compensated well.
She is the 4th highest paid female athlete in the world,
Okay.
regardless of sports.
Wow.
China is paying her $7 million a year to compete.
That's
Hey,
easy.
question
She made
answer.
$23 million.
Asked and answer.
$23
Asked and
million
answer.
she made last year.
Yeah. You said how much?
$23 million she made last year.
But she
as a
also
female
models. She's a very multifaceted type of
And only 22 years old.
personality.
Yeah.
She's very young too.
So ask and answer. I don't got no problem.
yeah.
I don't have a problem with her the way she answered or handled the press as well. I mean, if you can walk the walk, you can talk the talk. I mean,
I
you can
liked
back
it.
up what you say. I don't have a problem with it at all. And the fact, that she's got ties to China through her mother, and when she was younger, she spent a lot of time there in the country, and so
See, that's where I'm at. Long as you got a tie there.
Yeah.
Now, if she was born American,
But
she's
some
straight
people
American,
are not happy.
and she just went over there just for the money. That's when I would have a problem with it. But like I said, she probably has some citizenship situation because her mom is from there, so no problem. And just going back briefly, we can move on.
yeah.
I just when the initial clip that you played when he asked, I think that's just a problem with the media. That's such a ridiculous question. Like, why would you ask somebody that who just won a silver medal and like we just articulated these very difficult winter sports that take immense skill and training and concentration, and you're not going to get the acclaim, at least in the United States, like you would at maybe other places. So it's just that's a media issue.
For us kind of being in the media,
Yeah.
I would say that, when you sit around and you're trying to figure out what is the appropriate question or what is the right question that I think is going to get the best response for me, when you come up with that to him must have been a question like he thought, oh, this will force out a certain type of an answer.
Okay, maybe he didn't do his job then.
Because he wanted
maybe.
he wanted this discussion.
Yeah.
He wanted folks to have this conversation.
But maybe he did his job then.
I mean, she did say whenever, and this was her, she also was a part of the 2022 Beijing Olympic Games, which is, that's where her mother was from. So that's when she joined the team, the China team. But when she did join, this was the quote, and then we can move on, guys. But she basically said the opportunity to help inspire millions of young people where my mom was born during the 2022 Beijing Olympic Games is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
With $23 million.
With 20, yeah, well, that's a good point as well.
I'm
And
gonna
that
make a case
23
that
million.
I think that might have been the lead.
Yeah, and that 23 million. yeah, all that. Plus that 23.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we can wrap up the conversation with of Olympics. This is more of an inspirational type of angle when we're looking at the Winter Olympics, and we're going to talk about and you guys have probably heard of her. It was the women's figure skating women's single figure skating event, and the athlete's name is Alyssa Liu. And she won gold, and it was historic. Now, she also has ties to China, but she is a part of the United States Olympic team. Okay, so there's been some comparisons between her and the other young lady we spoke of. But anyway, so she made history. She was the first American woman to win an individual Olympic gold in 24 years. Wow. So that's pretty impressive, right? She took a retirement. This was the big conversation. This is the part I really want you guys to focus on. So she took retirement, a 2-year retirement after she was a teenage sensation. But then she came back to be a part of this Olympic team with an ultimatum. She wanted complete control, artistic control of her show. She wanted to be able to pick out her costumes. She wanted the music. She wanted complete, oversight of what was going on the ice. So is that something you think an athlete should be able to do even at the Olympic level?
Yeah, well, that's actually that. First of all, figure skating. Like, I love watching figure skating. It's so athletic. It's so. But I think just from the story that you just told, like you said, her being a teen sensation, she probably was so controlled. Her schedule was defined, what you eat, what you wear, everything was dictated. Because if you're doing a sport like that, you got to be on it. Like, you don't have time. You can't make mistakes when you're up in the air doing twists and turns and flips and all that stuff. So I would imagine that retirement gave her the space she needed to say, hey, if I come back, I'm doing it my way. I'm not being controlled by anybody. And the results are what they are. It paid off. So more power to her.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to challenge her with the success that she's had.
Yeah.
Right.
And what can I actually bring her that she might not already know?
But I don't think it's about. To me, the result is just a byproduct of her. I think she needed, and I think athletes a lot of times you need that space just to say, "Hey, I need to do it my way now." I've listened to people for my entire life, so whatever the result is, it is. But I want the opportunity to do it my way, because now if I fail, I did it my way. I'm not listening to you, so it's like I can take the failure.
Like, and I'll give a basketball analogy to kind of justify your point. You can only teach me, you can only coach me to a certain degree, and then if I become good enough that I can maybe make it to the NBA, got drafted in the NBA, somewhere I have to take over my skill set.
Yeah.
I have
That's
to.
a good point. That's a good way to put it.
Your development.
I have to take. You help me get to a space. Then there's a time where I have to be the one to take those extra shots, make those extra moves, and try to figure out now what kind of player am I going to be. And I think that's every player, male, female, and I don't even care what the sport is.
Yeah.
There's a place. You can say, let's just call it a trainer. You got a trainer. That trainer can train you to a degree. And then there's some place at some point, once he or she's gotten you to this place, you have to all of a sudden find your.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it the way it's not chalkboard. Like, you can't do it all the time. Chalkboard type. Yeah. You have to create it yourself.
And I think every athlete gets to that point. Every great, I won't say every athlete, but I think every great athlete had, like, you have no choice but to get there. I mean, even like you look at somebody like Tom Brady when he created the TB12 system and all the things he was doing with his body, and he was doing everything contradictory to probably what everybody thought he should be doing at that age in his career. Tom Brady changed the way he walked. Later in this, he's like darn near a 40-year-old man, and literally changed the way he walked, like, because it was more athletically inclined to walk with your feet straight and not have the duck feet. Like, if you watch a lot of people, they walk with the duck feet and not straight.
I definitely have that.
Yeah, athleticism is,
I resemble that remark.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying though, to your point though, he took it over, and I think every great athlete has to do that. More shout out to her.
And one of the things that I think is good about it, and the other side being bad, is the coach or whoever that other individual is shouldn't be fighting to
well,
want
you gonna want to fight. Like I said, if you help somebody get there, and it's like, man, come on, we could just do this together, and so you because you competitive too. So what did her coaches say? Was there any? Like,
I mean, I guess there was no. They just let her have it. I mean, they were probably just so glad to have her back.
Yeah,
they were just like, go for it, lady. If you think and she won gold.
And in this system, it makes sense that they have to back off because it's the Olympics.
I mean, I'm sure the trainers still had a say in the type of, like, there's certain critiquing, like, moves that they have to be a part of their performance.
But
I'm sure the
watching
coaches,
her practice,
right.
But everything's like, I'm gonna do it my way. But just I need your eye. So that's fair.
And, the difference between a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old, I mean, that's a difference between a child and an adult. So, she pretty much was ready to take over her life and say, this is the way it's going to be done. And I'm
glad they gave her the space to do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, with our kids, particularly if you got that success early, sometimes if you don't give them the space they need, they could be resentful.
It creates a problem, Yeah.
And also, after her performance, this was a little controversial as well. She had her own little thing that she said to the camera that the camera picked up on, like a hot mic. And she said that's after her performance was finished, she skated over to the camera and said, "That's what I'm blank talking about."
Yeah, there
and
you
so
go.
that's kind of been a viral clip on social media. It is pretty cool.
Well, yeah. And,
Awesome,
you can fill in the blank, okay?
And see, and again, I'll go back to the athlete that knows what they can do.
Right. Confident.
And the confidence in it. And I think if you're going to be great, at some point in time, there has to be a realization of where are you?
Mm-hmm.
Have you done enough? Do you think you are that guy or that girl that you can be that great? And I think a lot of people fake that.
I don't think you can fake it in the Olympics.
And you can't. And to me, you can't fake it anyway.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
You can't fake it because when you play a game, if you're not showing out,
right,
then you're not the guy or the girl.
Yeah.
So trust me, you'll know when you're that person because you'll be in that situation. You will be where everybody's looking for. Everybody's expecting you to throw the touchdown pass. Everybody's thinking that you're going to win the game for them. You got the shot. You got this. You got that. Everybody's going to be expecting it coming from you.
Right.
That's when you know you're that person.
That's when you've made it.
That's when you made it.
Yeah. The expectation is there. It's
already on.
It's not whether or not it's going to happen. It is when it's going to happen.
Kobe Bryant on the basketball court.
Yep.
They're down 2. Who's getting the ball? Who's taking that shot?
He
wants the ball. If I've got the ball, he's taking that from me.
Yeah.
And because he wants the ball. He wants to be able to be that person. That, to me, and that's what I like about the Olympics as well. It is the belief in having a talent that is as good as anybody ever.
Right.
I mean, think about that. How do you can't ignore that to yourself.
No.
You
can't fake it.
No,
you can't fake it till you make it.
No,
not in the Olympics. There's too many high-level athletes against you.
And everybody's trying to do the same thing that you're doing. So, it is what that to me is.
Well, there's one funny thing, and I know that Hollis has mentioned in our text thread how much of a curling fan he is, and so
was curling not on for the last 2 weeks.
But
curling was on every single day.
There is a
it was the sport.
There's a cheating scandal.
Oh,
how
do you do
exactly?
That? I don't know.
How do you cheat in that?
It's just this is the headline. Canada's curling skip tells cheating accusers to get Olympic celebration burned into your brain.
Because I know there was one.
So I guess it was Canada that got accused of Matt, do you know? Help us.
So, all right, so they call this the gentleman's sport, right? It's supposed to be very amicable, and you go and have beers after you're done playing and everything. So when you push the stone down the ice, there's a handle on top, and you're only allowed to touch that handle. But I guess the controversy is the Canadian is doing just a little finger push on the stone itself.
He's over the line.
Right over the line.
Yep. I saw it. Yeah. I know exactly what you were talking about.
They got into like a live heated 4-letter word match on live TV coverage of this because he got called out for it.
Because you hold the handle and then you let the handle go before the line. So what he did, he had the handle, he let it go, and then his pointer finger, he just pointed, he just pushed it a little bit right over the line.
This is going to be our new curling expert the next
It was
time.
literally on every single day for 2 weeks. Like I watched more curling than I probably watched basketball,
I want to
football.
start a team, Hollis. If you
go.
want to play, man.
South Charleston Rec, right in my district.
Let's
go. Yeah, let's go.
Where do you even start that?
I have no idea.
Where do you go? Who has that at a high school.
I think they've got one up in Sandusky, Ohio.
Yeah, I don't think it's a thing in West Virginia at all, is it?
It's like what's the
curling?
What's the
We got like 2 ice rinks in the whole
but,
state.
but what's the
That's what I'm saying. I don't
what's
think.
the name of the sport at the bar that has the sand over it and what is that?
You know
what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's
so
called.
that's kind of like a non-ice version of like curling. It's a little bit like it. So kinda. So you can practice at the bar.
Curling's whole body though.
Yeah.
Well, clearly, I don't know in West Virginia if that might not be anybody's goal.
exist,
I don't think.
So we've learned 2 important things tonight about our co-hosts here. That Carl is scared of baseball, and Hollis is going to start a new career in curling.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm going to sign up and play. I'll play.
Well, the good thing about curling, there is no physicality. There's no physicality.
No,
in it, so,
it is. You got to get the broom. You got to.
And I don't know what I'm going to do, Matt. Figure it out for me.
You got to get the broom. Sweep it. Slow it down. Speed it up.
I can't even imagine him. I can't even see him watching that.
Every day I watch it.
It's relaxing.
Yeah, every day.
It is.
We had it on in the studio in there with Dave Weekly on Hotline every day too.
Yeah.
I'd come in there for a segment and it'd be on the TV. Curling and the stocks.
Because with curling they have the women's, they have the men's, and then they have the mixed. So it's 3 different events. So it's literally, they go through all the qualifiers and all that. So it's a bunch of things.
So let's wrap up this conversation on the Winter Olympics of 2026. So what was your favorite sport? Did you have one that was particularly your most favorite?
My favorite was the short downhill slalom.
Oh
my God! When I tell you, like, because it's the short hills, not the long hill. So like I said, the slalom is they're like, they're going down the hill and they're going around the flags. And with this one, it's the parallel. So they're competing against one. So your competitor is right beside you.
Yeah.
So you're and look. So
and the verbal.
What was that sound again?
Yeah.
But look,
how did they go? How did they go?
look. But here's the thing though. So I'm sitting watching it, and I'm noticing, like, at least on my right hand side, the blue path. It's like faster. So we're sitting there watching, like, they're like, even when they get to a point, then the red starts to pull away. Then once the blue side gets to a certain point, the snow gets slick or something. So every time they were pulling around, and we're noticing, like, when you're going around the flags, you're not just like sliding around them. You're like jump hop, like basketball, like jump hop.
Yeah.
So you're doing that. You're like jumping. Man, I'm telling you. It was great. Short, parallel, downhill slalom. Favorite Olympic sport.
And how did it sound again? Okay, so
I'm telling you
that we have had some great sound effects.
Yeah.
If nothing else in this show, the sound effects are great.
Best. I'm telling you, go YouTube it.
Well, what was your favorite, Carl? Real quick.
I just like the downhill skiing.
Okay.
I don't know how to.
You guys are ski fans.
I don't want to know. I don't want to try to go into the details of how that worked. I'll pull around and break an ankle or something.
Mine was the hockey. I like the men and women's hockey.
Yeah.
I thought those were exciting.
That's big. It's big.
Yeah.
Two
I was
gold
up
medals.
early.
Have you ever seen it live?
Yes. I
Okay.
went to a Pittsburgh Penguins game one time.
So
it was pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Is it a game or is it a
so
match?
Good. That's a game.
Okay.
In hockey.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, if anybody's out there who's never been to a hockey match, you should see one.
Yeah, go to high
Yeah.
school, even if you don't have professional. Go check it out.
Just go see it. It is so
good.
amazing, and the skill set is just out of this world.
And the sound. You really don't get the sounds
Yeah.
that you
Yeah,
hear
that's a good
when
point.
you're in
That
when
is a
it's
good point,
live.
yeah.
You know.
And I want to go see the Nailers too on Willing. So we got a semi-pro here team in Willing.
Really?
So I seen the Nailers here.
Yeah.
It was great.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
No, I've never heard of it either. So
Yep.
here we go. Field trip.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. We ought to have it. So is this? Are we in season?
I'm not sure, like, to see. I don't know that deep, but I know.
Think so. I would think so.
Yeah, but the Nailers on Willing, they're a semi-pro team. I think they're affiliated. I want to say with the Bruins. Say they're affiliated with somebody.
Oh, we got it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to go. We need to go
Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah, it's really fun, man.
We could go to Columbus
Columbus
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
because they're in season for sure. I would say that the minor league probably is too, but
Yeah.
definitely the major or NHL.
Yeah, they are for sure.
Yeah, man.
All right, well.
That sounds like a bus tour with
Yes.
Carl.
On the road.
Yeah, so I guess we'll wrap it up on a field trip coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you being here, and we are out of here.